Hello, viewers. I'm SB,
And I'm Amabel.
and I like the way you're slowly developing a song. We can listen iteration by iteration. You're developing a consistent jingle for your intro. This is welcome back to Amabel Goes to Forex School, where I am afraid that we have stumbled and fallen behind. I do think that this start was not like an off to the races kind of start at all. And then I think that we've just sort of gotten bogged down here. Red is doing their level best to make our lives miserable, despite the fact that we are the player who is least likely to suddenly annihilate them. And in the meantime, Green's doing big stuff. Green has a lot of troops. Now that we're allied with them, we can actually see all of their stuff. They have multiple 8-unit armies. They have the Guardian that was constructed. Here's Geos with the arm that is a flame whip. It's pretty sick. And notice multiple camps and stuff with 8-unit garrisons inside. Their total number of military units is just absurd.
Do you think they befriended us just to show us
you are
how
not
much they have
currently at war with anybody? They did say something about behold, we are the greatest empire. So I wouldn't say it's entirely out of the realm of possibility. They've allied with us as a shaming measure.
Yeah.
So it is still the case that the only wars going on are that Red is at war with Purple and Pink. Neither one of them seem to be in a hurry to finish him off. But keeping at war with him is a good way to keep him from settling elsewhere, because they could just roll over and crunch the city.
Mm-hmm.
And we are getting to be sort of penalized gently by his readiness, because he's got just enough units to be in my way all of the time. In short, what an asshole. So what do you think, Amabel? How are you feeling about this game? You think we got a chance? You think we're gonna pull it off?
Maybe. I mean,
hey, cool.
I don't have enough sense of the.
What?
I like that Red's 4 fire ships left the screen.
Yeah, they sailed away and then waited a second to see if we would sail out into vulnerable space. And yeah, again, what an asshole. The ruins of Auriga are perilous places, even for those who wield exceptional powers. A courier has arrived with a message from a distant land, reporting that a mysterious figure has been trapped in some sort of disaster at one of the Endless's ruins. Furthermore, the being in question appears to be one of the dust-wielding heroes, given that they had been moving large masses of rock in an attempt to work their way out. Fascinating. Another hero among your officers and administrators could only be advantageous. It would be really nice, actually. Though if they are wounded, the trip may not be easy. So they're in this ruin up here that unfortunately has a bunch of fungus growing all over it, so not necessarily be easy for us to interact with. Okay. So at the moment, in terms of who is winning right now, it feels to me like the answer's got to be Green, right? If you just look at the amount of territory Green's holding. However, it's hard to track exactly where people are on the victory conditions. So Green has 38 technologies right now. It takes 9 techs to move up from age to age. So you need 9, 18, 27, 36, 45 to open up the last set of techs. So they're in Era 5 and they're working toward unlocking Era 6. But that's probably as close as anybody is. There is still time. There is still some time. So here we are continuing to scout with our centaur, our horribly wounded centaur, and these guys are continuing to be assholes. Yeah, with the fire ships being one space per turn faster than we are, there's not really a good way for us to be, like, tricky. Oh, hey! They have another set of fire ships.
Another set of 4 fire ships.
They have 8 fire ships. Eight fire ships worth of resources.
8
All of the
extra
things they
fire
could be
ships.
doing. Just sitting here. I feel like your war is probably going the way it's going because of the way you will allocate your resources, sir.
Well,
All right, we're working hard on buildings, but, you know, like, we're just not, in a lot of ways, we're not as developed as I would like. The dust is going to help with that for sure. And we have a pretty fair income right now. Hopefully, a fair enough income to allow us to, you know, push up and potentially buy some things that matter. That would be pretty sick. Okay, but this is the moment that our pillars have run out, so we're gonna have to refresh those. We found nothing in those ruins. Oh, interesting. A Mycaran watchtower. So this city has a Mycaran watchtower built in it next to it, but it belongs to the necrophages. I don't know what that. How did that happen? I guess you can always just build watchtowers on any watchtower site you can see. It's been a while since I've played the Mycara, and I don't remember exactly how their mechanics work.
I mean, it's been a while since you played the game generally. For
Yeah.
the series. Do you think, you know, when we moved on to the community patch, that you maybe should have chosen you chose a pretty hard difficulty level, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Well, I chose the difficulty level I used to play on. And it's the same difficulty level that we played the game before that on, so I thought it would be good for contrast. It's like, here is what they gain. Here's how much more effective they become. And look at that, ain't it just? There are Urkin lice running around our territory, and I don't know why. But I think that they should not be doing that. Hot take. Fuck these guys. What are their stats? 78 attack, 36 defense, 88 damage is a lot. Relative to our fellows, those stats are, those stats are better. There are both green and red troops all up in my regions, and I guess we're just gonna have to let them do that. Maybe they'll fight the lice. So yeah, they have two battle groups of ships just watching us at all times to make sure we never ever move a settler anywhere. And this is what they're doing instead of moving their own settlers to places. All right, well, let's definitely put down some more pillars, yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like our science output is still, like, fine. I would like to continue encouraging population growth, because I think this is the best shot we have at getting back in this game. So we're definitely going to drop at least 2 food pillars. Let's see here, the capital can take one since it's got a little bit of an expansion going. And we're building more population in Undand. The next pillar would be 138. So that's 2 turns of income, but at the same time, I mean, it is helpful. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna throw down another one on Graldom. We're just pumping food output. If we get enough population, we'll be able to at least get some buildings done. Maybe build some more military units. Maybe become a threat to somebody. But I'm really bummed out at how we've sort of like locked up on our faction quest here because of the fact that we have this cantankerous neighbor whose only job in the world is to make us not do well.
Yeah.
All right, so winter has fallen. I'm going to pop a centaur out of the garrison here real fast.
It doesn't feel
Okay.
like that's the thing you would face in a multiplayer game.
I mean, no, it's
You know?
terrible. It's exactly a thing you might face in a multiplayer game. People love to be spiteful.
Oh, I suppose that's true.
It's a thing I feel like you wouldn't see from computers under most circumstances. Most computers aren't advanced enough for spite. Okay, minus 30% attack on infantry, plus 30% attack on ranged during the winter.
Well,
So,
it's kind of like I think of like the old 1830 computer game where all the CPU opponents would work together so that you would lose no matter what, even if
yeah.
it would make them lose also.
And there is, to be clear, there is absolutely a little bit of always target the player in the base Endless Legend programming. I don't actually know if it's true in the community patch. I suspect it is, though, because that is certainly a way to create difficulty, right?
Yeah.
So how much it takes 25 of a booster to run. It takes 25 of a resource to run it as a booster. But you'll note that because we got Grass Silk a couple of times, we have 30 now. And that's enough to convince Khazar to join us. Maybe give us a little extra push here. If we can just get over to him while that's still what he wants and while he's still here to ask for it. So I'm gonna try to make a little diplomatic play here. We are still constructing buildings everywhere, so I'm researching access to the resources part of the market, because we're not gonna be able to make use of any more building research at the moment. And aha, I was like, I don't see the red ships, but there they are. Never mind. In the winter, because of the way movement points reduce, they're not actually faster than we are, I believe. Because they will have lost a full movement point down to 3 movement. We lost proportionally the same amount of movement, which means we have like 2.25 movement points. But you can enter a tile as long as you have any movement left. So they and we both have 3 movement during the winter, effectively. So we might be able to use that to maneuver around them if we're clever. But unfortunately, I managed to pick a tile that was adjacent to them with my move there, so that's not quite going to work. We'll try again next turn. I think the most critical thing to be paying attention to at the start of the turn is the centaurs. We want to get on land. And then next turn we can reach Khazar, and hopefully nothing will happen. Okay, influence on anomalies returns to normal, but we managed to bank up a pretty decent amount there. We have met some Gelderus. We just gained a vision of a Gelderus village out here. Oh, because an allied army is exploring this area.
Gotcha.
Gosh, there are so many troops moving around the map. Most of them with no real purpose, as far as I can tell. Just kind of existing. I spawned a centaur out of our own garrison there to run around to pick up all of the large pearl deposits that have spawned due to the winter's arrival, because at the very least we'll be able to trade those pearls to people. It would be cool to make decent use of them ourselves, but who knows. Okay, wow. 10 fire ships now.
What?
He's really going for it. So this guy's got to get back to safety. And over here, we're going to try to very quickly pay tribute before we are murdered. Shoot. The lice. I kind of tried to steer around them and I panicked and it did not go to where I was hoping it would go to. All right, so we have an empire plan to figure out. We'll deal with it in a second. Yeah, somebody else got to that hero before we did. Not a surprise. So that's all gone. Oops. And then, yeah, these guys have attacked us. And we don't have enough health to survive retreating or being attacked. So, cool. How much movement do they have? 4? This is a tiny little island. Yeah. I was like, I wonder if there's a way that I could just like run away from them for 6 turns, but no, there is not. The island is too small to flee. All right, well, we've got 9 turns before Khazar leaves. Oh, Khazar, at the beginning of the winter, the luxury changed anyway, so we don't have 30 of that thing. Okay, and there's a huge lightning storm just off the coast, so if we were to try to head west at all, we would take a bunch of damage from the weather. Fun. So we have exactly enough influence to do this thing now. Reduce the cost of all of our buildings by 33% and gain 25 approval in all of our cities, which should, I think, bump us from high happy all the way up to maximum approval.
Well, that'll be helpful.
Yeah, that'll put us for the next 20 turns. We're going to be actually in a really good position to finish construction projects and stuff. And as you can see, we're finishing our large dust buildings anyway. The winter barely dents our income at this point because so much of it is from buildings rather than raw tile value.
Okay.
So we're doing well on that front. Our economy is in a pretty good place and it's getting better all the time. I just think it's going to be a little slow is all. I think we're going to be in position to be a real powerhouse right as the game's ending.
We call that Poland and Amabel.
We have 1 to 11 turns remaining. I think red is trying to steal my pearls, or you know what? They're just running this settler through here. I don't know what they're doing. Hey, don't be here. You cannot settle in this place. Red is asking about peace. Green has vision embargoed us, so we're still allied, but we can no longer see what their troops can see. Weird. So red has asked us for peace again. And at this point, it's becoming clear to me that these other players are not intending to be aggressive enough with them. Although here comes a great big pink army, who knows. But I'm going to take the peace so that we can sail.
Yeah.
But I am going to finish attacking their settler first. Take that. Now I accept your offer. But these are my pearls. You're not allowed to have them. Okay, well. Let's use this guy to scout the edge of the thunderstorm. Or lightning storm, rather. Okay, we know this tile is safe. They're still just hanging out there. So in the capital, we can build these extractors. We don't have a huge need for the resources just yet. And so I do wonder if I would be better off just building more burrows. Which winter is this? Okay, it is the 3rd winter. So we have access to the special districts. We can purchase these special district designs for 20 pearls each. There's one that you can build over strategic resources to extract them at double rate while also producing bonus science. There's one that works the same way but for luxuries, that it produces dust instead of science. And then there's one that you can only build on top of anomalies, and it just doubles the output of the anomaly. We have enough resources to unlock this blessing for 20 pearls, and then each one of these that we want to build costs another 10 pearls, and that is exactly what we have. And I'm just going to build one of those right here. So in addition to these special districts doing the things that they do, which, are very cool, they also don't cause the normal unhappiness that districts generally cause.
Okay.
So that's rad. Okay, so looking at this, we could... trying to figure out how I want to build, because like this is another burrow, right? We could build a burrow here. We could build just like wings sort of around the pillars. This district has 2 adjacencies already, as does this one. Yeah, you know what? That's actually not horrible. As far as like giving us the ability to absorb more bonuses. I would love to build an Abbey of Anomalies on top of this good anomaly over here. So we'll just build a normal district on here, and we need our centaurs to find us 10 more pearls so that we can build more of these magical, wonderful districts. And most of our cities have finished the buildings they were working on. We now have the ability to buy stuff from the market, buy like actual raw resources from the market, which will let us run boosters at least some of the time. Unfortunately, you cannot buy pearls. So it's going to take us 4 more techs to get up to the next era. Ooh, what do we want? We probably, you know what? I did not ever pick up the docks, did I? The cargo docks? Oh no, they're in this era. Yeah, let's pick up the cargo docks. The cargo dock, even if you're not in a place where you can like dump stuff into the ocean at high value, the cargo dock itself is just a good district. It's a good expansion for your cities. It'll sit well over here while giving us more tiles to exploit from the pillars.
Okay.
The other players are leaving us alone. They're leaving us alone to sort of like get our ramp going. We're building upwards now. And that's cool. But I think we're still behind enough that it's going to be very difficult for us to overcome how far ahead green is right now.
Yeah.
That said, any source of victory that you can pursue is going to eventually generate a victory notification. When green starts generating victory notifications, in my experience, the ELCP AI takes that stuff pretty seriously, and they will probably get aggressive about it. So it's possible that green is, on the path to getting dogpiled. An enemy army has started pillaging one of my buildings. Oh, those fucking lice are pillaging my watchtower. So if we let this go on, it looks like they're going to get it done in one turn. The watchtower will become non-functional for like 5 turns, and the army that executed the pillage will gain resources based on exactly what it was they pillaged. So like if you pillage a resource extractor, you get a bunch of whatever the resource it works is. When you pillage watchtowers, you just get, I think you get dust and healing. Your army heals. This is just it's like a neutral faction that fell off of one of the Urkins, just running around and being annoying. Because that's the world we live in, Amabel.
I can't... The idea of lice doing like a pillaging is kind of goofy.
Amabel,
Like, I get it.
you have seen these things. They're called lice. They're the size of horses.
No, I know, I know. It's just,
And they're covered with razor sharp scything talons and
but like when my boy Godzilla goes on a rampage, I don't think of it as a pillage, right? I
yeah,
think
they're
of it
not
as
executing a complicated resource extraction strategy. They're just knocking shit over and ripping at the building. You remember the little guys from what's it called? Cloverfield? The things that fall off of the Cloverfield?
yeah.
That's what these are.
I get it.
You say that. But yet. What are we going to do with you, Gnathan? This crummy, crummy little city. We could, since we're now building things more effectively, we could revolutionize our army designs and then try to build a couple more units. Actually, you know what? If we fix up our army designs here, notice by the way we're now at plus 211 dust per turn. Part of that, a big part of that, is just the extra approval. Combined obviously with the larger dust buildings being completed in the cities.
Yeah.
So if we take a moment here and outfit our troops with real gear, let's give them some basic armor. I'm not going to give them fancy strategic armor. We don't have the stockpiles for that. But I do think there's an argument to be made for giving them potentially strategic weaponry. The difference between the weapons, I think, is much greater than the difference between the types of armor. And the weapons are relatively efficient. The centaurs, if I remember correctly, already have titanium weaponry, right?
I'm not sure.
So let's see here. This would put us at a base of 48 attacks, 72 damage. That's pretty fairly kind of serious. And, it would be really cool if everybody could, move real fast, too, but we might be pumping up the costs a little bit too much here. Okay, you guys are... you do have the fine weapons. You don't have any armor on. Even just like a basic amount of armor, I think would be good. And the warlocks or the zealots... Okay, they have movement stuff on, but we built them when tier 2 was the highest tier we could make, so they have the wrong tier of stuff. So okay, with our troops refitted here, I think we'll keep the glass steel since he's already wearing it. We can now go into any troop that's in friendly territory and press this retrofit button to upgrade them to the modern designs. Unfortunately, we do not quite have the dust to fix this whole army right now. But at our current rate of income, we'll have it next turn. So we'll refit our critters. We'll run out there and we'll fuck some shit up. I don't think that we need to build more military units, probably. So I am, in fact, just gonna reach out a little bit. Let's reach out toward this other coastline. This city is in such an awkward spot. I remember why we built it that way. There were strategic concerns, but ugh, what a terrible place. So there is a neutral island right here.
Okay.
It's not an island. Sorry, there's a neutral territory right here. It is attached to Purple's territory. It is part of a landmass. But I think we need to get over towards some kind of something that hasn't been conquered. All right, our settler gets to move forward through a fog bank, which is nice. Little bit of security. So you see, we no longer have the vision provided by the tower until such time as it is repaired.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and retrofit our dudes. And we're just gonna poke out here and see. Where the hell did those lice go? Did they leave our territory? They didn't. Well, we can't quite get to them this turn. Okay, notice that this large pink army is in pretty bad shape. So they did run all the way over here to actually attack red, but it seems like it's maybe not working out for them. In general, I think it's a good idea to be aggressive in moments like this. You know, if a player who's way ahead of you has a moment of weakness, you just jump them to reduce their overall strength. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that makes any sense to do here, really. Like, first of all, necrophages are vengeful. Secondly, they probably have an easier time eating us than they have eating them. I don't really want to put myself on the target list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we're not going to do that. But, like, this would be... Especially if there was any chance of, like, red being a functional player in the game. Showing up, backstabbing pink's damaged army, getting a bunch of XP, and then, you know, buying red's friendship when they are inclined to give it to you. Could be a good way to make a friend. It's just that, like, this guy is not valuable as a friend.
Yeah.
I hate to put it that simply, that mercenarily. But actually, fuck this guy.
It's not usually how you choose your friends, but it's a game, I get it. And also, he did have like 18 fire ships, just making sure your one wouldn't go anywhere.
There is spite. I'm not going to pretend that there's no spite involved in the calculation. Wow, this is a massive fire bank. Oh, did you see that? Our movement was locked by combat for a second. Some kind of fight happened over here. Now these lice right in front of our face are going to pillage our minor faction village. Hey, assholes. Fucking cut that shit out. Hold on, we'll resolve this in a second. So that's that. The Mycera killed the sea monster. That tells us that either the Mycera have so many ships, just so many ships, or they have some terrifyingly powerful ships. One of those two things is certainly true. So that's interesting.
Yeah, interesting is a word for it.
What is the word that you would prefer? Clearly you are unhappy with my description here.
No, I'm not unhappy. I just wouldn't say unhappy.
All right, I'm going to do my level best here to do as much of the fighting as possible with our militia units, but this is complicated somewhat by the fact that there's lava running through the battlefield. So these tiles over here are not safe to stand or walk on because they are lava. So all of the AI are going to get to go first. This is pretty rough. Our warlocks are equipped with claws. Claws have slightly better combat stats than most other weapons, and they give the sweep strike back capacity, which makes it so when you counterattack, it overrides your default counterattack with a thing that that cleaves. So part of the reason they have a better stat layout than most of the other weapons is because they don't do anything if you're like actually active and in control of the situation. They're only cool if you're getting attacked. But for units that have poor initiative, or for units that you know are going up against things that have good initiative, they certainly provide some benefit. So I'm hoping we'll see something useful occur here. All right, just have at 'em, friends. Okay, pretty good counter damage. So watch, they're going to cleave and hit both these guys here, which is nice. Warlocks do a little bit of spread damage. And we managed to not actually kill any of them. Cool. Sadly, they are now going to hunt our ranged units, which is, you know, just smart play, but I was kind of hoping that we were going to maybe be better defended than that. It really sucks that the middle unit of our line died.
Yeah, because the way is it called morale in this, or the
Yeah.
being next to each other? Yeah.
Well, no, it sucks that the middle unit of our line died because it left a big hole for them to run up.
Oh, okay. Well, that too.
All right, well, we lost the entire army, but we also drove off those lice so that we're not losing our buildings. So to give you an idea of where we're at militarily, we just lost our entire army to 3 Urkin lice. Amabel, if somebody were to attack us, we would fold like a cheap card table. Fortunately, I think that I think it's probably not true of red. I think we could probably just out economic muscle red, and everybody else is too busy winning the game to want to bother us.
Yeah.
So, you know, is that good news? I don't know. Okay, it's true. We did not get luxury boosts going during the winter. We were busy. We're doing stuff.
Well, maybe when no one's paying attention to you, you can get yourself situated to come from behind, which is whenever I win a game, that's usually what's happened, is that everyone is not paying attention to me. They're just taking care of the player who is usually winning, and then I sneak in.
I don't think this is an accurate depiction of your skill at games, but it is, I think, our actual plan for the moment. Now that our cities are starting to get built out a little bit more, I think this building that gives science based on the number of districts you have it's getting better. It's getting more appealing. With the change of seasons, you get a change of weather on the sea, and all of a sudden, there's just an infinite amount of seaweed all the way around our settler. Fantastic. The thing about this game for us is it has just been non-stop good luck. Everything going our way. And that's why we're in such a commanding position. All right, like for real though, our cities are growing. We're getting more resource output going. We have access to the market. We have a fair amount of income that actually should allow us to buy some heroes, actually like improve the governance of our cities, or maybe to barter with the other players and get things from them, perhaps. I'm kind of waiting for a shakeup in the diplomatic situation. I think that's the thing we're looking for. We're looking for somebody to declare a crazy war or something like that. And for the moment, until something like that happens, all we can really do is just keep sort of forging ahead the way we're forging ahead.
Yeah.
Trying to get some efficiency going wherever we can. Okay. So this is the neutral region. The region that the Urkin currently controls borders right here. I don't know how easy it is to see that. But we can get up on land over here. Okay. Fakir has been tamed by the Kapaku. And Khazar has been tamed by the Necrophages. So no neutral Urkins anywhere. Oh, look at that. Karandar fell to the Necrophages.
All right.
Not great. Not great news, actually. Purple expanding their empire along, that's kind of whatever. A large necrophage settlement on our border is not good. I'm not sure what we're going to do about that. Oh, cool. Now they're here to police the fucking... Amabel?
At least they didn't show up with 32 fire ships.
At
Like
least they
Redshift.
didn't show up with 32 fire ships. A lot of stuff's going sideways. A lot of stuff's going pretty wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to do about Pink. They have very large armies. Do you see that the number of units in that army over there?
Yeah.
We are not logistically or on a, case of just like unit by unit strength ready to deal with 175 attack, 141 damage on a 300 HP flying unit that spreads disease everywhere it goes. Like,
Yeah. No. If to be clear, make sure I'm reading the situation properly. If they declare a war, you're just dead.
yes, that's
Okay.
that's correct. To be clear, that's correct. Yes.
So just don't let them declare a war.
It looks like aside from that, the diplomatic situation is as it was. The alliance of green and orange is still the most powerful force on the planet, due entirely to the green half of the alliance. And my hope is that there is a way in which us being a very weak player makes us attractive to attack, right? Mm-hmm. Probably I can't defend myself. But on the other hand, harming me doesn't take any other threats out of the game.
And you are allied with green. Would green do anything about you being attacked?
You'd hope so. I kind of want to let Pink's army... Yeah, okay. Let them expend all their movement before we do anything here. Alright, so we're just going to move in. Okay, they have another 8 units up on this landmass. Is this guy planning to get into the water, or... Oh, notice some red stuff moving back toward Karandar. Okay, they flipped it back. Pink didn't leave any defenders, it looks like. This army is literally just walking back and forth in place. They moved Khazar over to this landmass. Okay. All right. That's fine. I'm going to get up on land here because we have better vision on land. But I wanted to let that army expend all of its movement points before doing so. Okay, so right now my plan is just to sail over here and put down a city somewhere. This empire is a common friend. Perhaps you'll be kinder to them than you were to us. You forgot to include the information of which this empire is? Who did you make friends with? Green. Okay, yeah, I mean, that makes sense, right? It would have to be. Green's the friend we have in common, right? Well, they have a formal peace with Green for all the good it's going to do them. You know, it does look like maybe Green is riding to their rescue. There's a great big green army headed in, well, I suppose they're actually facing east. But they're nearby, though. I could absolutely see Green attacking Pink because Pink is a danger.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I said, take the moment to attack them when they're weakened by being distracted. maybe we'll get lucky, and that'll happen. There'll be some fighting among the militarily larger players, and we can just sort of like grow stronger while nobody's watching.
The pink doesn't border green at all, so there's...
Right. Pink didn't border red at all either.
Okay.
That doesn't necessarily preclude violence.
Okay, I'm just saying it. Like, if I'm green, it's more attractive to be fighting someone who's not at my border.
Okay, yeah, sure.
You know,
I mean, I don't know if that's
territory.
I don't know if that's true because you would like to be able to gain territory, right? Also, pink and green totally do border each other.
Okay, well, never mind.
Over on the other side of the world. So all of our pillars ran out. I'm going to hold off on putting them back up for a second because it looks like we're finally going to get to put the settler down. We need to settle in an area that's worth at least 10 science at the city's founding, and we can make it worth 10 science by putting a science pillar down if we have to.
Right.
Although, actually, it looks like there's a spot over here that is just very science rich. So we may not need to engage in these shenanigans. But I'm going to hold off. Even if we don't have to engage in these shenanigans, putting the new city down and then putting a food pillar next to it makes a lot of sense, right? To give it a little push. So we're holding out on that. We do actually have enough dust to consider hiring some heroes. Allegra Mordicant here is a pretty army-focused hero. She has no governing capacities and 2 army capacities. Gia Wardine has Food Boost 1, which is like pretty whatever. Influence efficiency. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not in love with any of the options on the market here as governors. The governors in the market do rotate from time to time. I do not remember what the rules are for that. Like when it is that they rotate. We might just hold on to the money for the moment. Is there a booster available that will be meaningful? There's wine. We don't need wine right now, but once we put down a new city, it might be helpful to have some. So let's see here. Wine is at 17.5 right now. You can buy a maximum of 10 units of a thing at a time. And then it recalculates the price. There's enough dust water for us to buy boosters as well. Dust water gives plus 50% dust on your cities. So to buy the 25 that we would need to fire it, the first set's going to be about 270 dust. Then us purchasing it is going to push demand up. So the second 10 is going to be more than that, and then the 5 after that is going to be even more. Do I think 10 turns of plus 50% dust is going to outpace that? Keep in mind, you can't just roll this number up by 50% because first of all, this number includes like upkeep payments and stuff. And secondly, this 50% is going to apply additively with the other multipliers we have, the other percentage bonuses. So the math is not super clean to just do napkin wise. I'd have to actually take this apart to have a good sense. But if it's even slightly valuable, even if it's just like break even, the extra 10 approval will help a little bit because we are, like, as we're expanding our cities, putting down more districts, we are pulling the happiness levels down. I am going to purchase enough of this to run a booster.
Okay.
270, then 323. So that was about 600 dust right there. Close to 800 dust. We paid for that. And then apparently we had some already. Oh, whatever. Okay, we gained over 100 dust per turn from that. So we paid close to 800 for it, and it's going to pay us back north of 1,000. While also giving us 10 approval for the duration. If we fire this grass silk booster, it'll give us just 10% or 50% on our trade routes, right? 100% on our trade routes. I mean, that's just free money. We were holding on to this initially because we were going to use it to charm an Urkin, but that ain't happening. So even more money. What about that? What if we just had all the dust? Now we're making a hero's hiring value every 2 turns for the next 10 turns.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that'll do some things for us. Obviously, we are going to get off land as quickly as possible here. I have the move keyed in already. Don't want to be hanging out next to these hungry necrophage armies. We are at Cold War with them because it is impossible to be at any more than Cold War. Because that's how the necrophages work. They can't peace.
Like mechanically, they can't.
Mechanically, literally impossible for them to do peace, yes. And that's, just the necrophages doing their thing. You are mad to ally with an enemy. Hold on now. Ally with an enemy. Okay, yeah, it happened. Green and pink are at war. Auriga is alive, perhaps in ways that no one truly understands. An ancient manifestation known as a guardian has come to life, springing from the bowels of the planet itself and roaming one of the regions. That's this guy right here. We saw this just as it spawned. If you wish to understand its origins and mysteries, and perhaps even master its creation, you must hurry to that region and be the first to defeat it. Do not take the task lightly, however. If a guardian is indeed, as your sages suspect, a manifestation of the planet, its power will be truly impressive. Yeah, there's no universe in which we can take on this Dust Guardian right now. If we were to defeat it, we would get the technology necessary to build our own, which is kind of cool. We would also get this book, and whoever is equipped, whichever heroes equip the book, get big bonus damage versus Guardians. It's a cool idea, but we're just not in a position to interact with that quest line right now. The necrophages sure could eat that thing, though. So, hold on. One more time into the diplomatic window here. Okay, purple is still just at war with red. In a lot of cases, you'd expect to see people who fight a prolonged war against a common enemy to buddy up. But again, you literally cannot do that with the necrophages. So there will be no friendships, no strange bedfellows here. And unfortunately, it looks like there just aren't any pearls left in our territory. There is a single pearl out there in the water. I mean, I guess I'll go get it. Yeah, that's a real bummer. I was hoping to be able to put together at least one more of those districts. People are diligent. They're diligent about the pearls. Okay, so my plan is to settle like right here. We get the decent anomaly. We get a good, a nice bay in which to build a cargo dock. And we definitely have more than 10 points of science. And we can actually push our faction quest forward a little bit, but I suspect the delay has been too great. Also, we get to search this ruin before doing the thing. Oh, also, we discovered a total of 3 science-based technologies. Remember that?
Right.
Next, via the Empire plan, raise your science ministry by 1 more level than previously to receive a very large amount of money. Also, when I searched this ruin, if we deposit 15 dye in some ruins, we'll get some lice out, and we'll fight them enough. Fuck that. Who cares? Okay, I do not think there is any reason that we would hold off on this.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. Sorry, hold on. The one reason we might hold off on this is if there is a luxury that we want to run a booster for, it will be cheaper. It will be 5 units cheaper to run it right now, and then found the city. And I noticed people are dumping stuff on the market. There's a whole bunch of extra red sang that wasn't here before, and you can see demand has fallen. This is like a thing that's recently gained a lot of supply. There's also just enough Titan bones for us to run a Titan bone booster, which gives a bunch of extra industry. That'll help the new city come alive, certainly. We have red sang that we just got from that quest. It's not enough to fire a booster by itself, I believe. Right, we got 20? Yeah, so it's pretty cheap to just buy 5 of that, too. Our functional economy is doing its absolute best to drag us kicking and screaming back into this game. We can't quite afford a gold booster. We're good. I think we're good. I'm just going to launch these, and then we're going to put the city down. Okay. Because remember, the cost to fire boosters is based on the number of cities you have. So.
Yep.
All right, so we put this down right here. 10 industry, 15 science. And look at that, would you? Movement on the faction quest. We receive 20 dust. Okay, now raise your new city's science output to 30 science. So we didn't put down the pillars. We were waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is time to put down the pillars. So first of all, just putting down a science pillar over here, I think is going to get us where we're going.
All right.
Oh, actually, we don't even need to. I'm going to put down a food pillar over here. Watch my city grow. And then to get our city's science output up to 30, I'm just going to bump these 2 people over to... Actually, it looks like it only takes 1 of them. Okay. So we'll let that person work science for a turn. That'll fix that. Let's get the mill foundry and then the seed storage and then... Yeah, the basic set of buildings. We could rush some of this stuff too. You know what? I will rush the seed storage and the mill foundry. Let's get the basics really going there. Okay, and then the rest of our cities are doing the best they can. We need 2 more technologies to move on to the next era. I'm looking at this and trying to figure out, like, what are the buildings that we most want to pick up from here? We do have cities now that are large enough that they would produce a fair amount of influence through the public works. And if we want to keep getting the good empire plans, we probably need some of this kind of stuff going on. We're also building the or just have just built the extractors for the resources that national museums are made out of. So I think let's pick that up. And then, now that we have our Palladian income set as well, we don't have any glass steel? Nope, there sure is no glass steel in our entire empire. So the plow factory is not necessarily the best thing in the world to build then. We don't have access even to public granaries. Let's get those. Those would be better. Although, if we're starting to run such a dust-focused play here, this tech, which is called Prisoners, Slaves, and Volunteers, lowers the buyout cost of units and buildings. I think we're going to pick that up. Do you have feelings? Would you like to express something?
No, I mean, it's... I appreciate that it's not like a euphemism.
Yeah. They're just engaging with, like, here is how building projects got completed quickly.
Yeah. It just sucks that that's how it happened,
So Karandar has now flipped purple. So the necrophages came along and knocked down the walls, but they lost their army in doing so. The Broken Lords were able to reclaim the city because it was left ungarrisoned, because Pink's armies were down here fucking with me and the Urkin. And then the Forgotten, the Purple, rolled in and have taken control of the city. But again, it looks like it's ungarrisoned and undefended. So if red has any more troops left, we may see it flip back. So that's exciting. It's exciting stuff's going on over there. In addition, now that we have started putting down pillars, let's get some pillars down. We can put down one more. Nothing could use it. Nothing could use it. Yeah, this will make sense. Okay, we're growing as best we can. Our new city will push our faction quest along at least a little bit here. Remember our brother's research or whatever? That's that's the thing that we're doing now. We're kind of getting there. All right. Now we must build the Verda's Temple improvement in our new city. We have been given the technology for Verda's Temple. It gives +1 Arcana level for all spells, which is pretty rad, and also a little bit of extra science. It does cost 400 industry to put together, which is not a huge amount, but for a city this fresh, it's a little tricky.
I forgot we had spells.
Yeah, we haven't really been fighting, so we could just buy out Verda's Temple. I'm gonna do that.
You're making so much progress on this faction quest.
This is what we're using all of our money for. Apparently, they felt that we did this. I mean, the last time we ran our Empire plan, we did raise the Science Ministry by 1 level, but I thought we were going to have to do so again after receiving the quest. I guess not. I guess they just gave it to us.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, friendly Fomorian, for all of the dust. We're using it aggressively. In the capital, I think, yeah. Advanced Alchemy Lab makes some amount of sense. We don't have a ton of titanium income, but we have some. We can build these sort of mid-level science buildings. We will go forth and fetch the pearl singular. And this guy, I don't know what this guy's doing. This guy's gonna go jump in the water over here and catch some more ocean ruins, because there are still ruins to be searched. So, one more turn here.
Okay.
Will give us Verda's Temple, and we'll see what the next stage of the faction quest will be. And then we do really need to start buying some governors. I keep delaying it. Okay, Purple does have an army in the area, and they look like they're in pretty decent shape. It's an interesting army composition. So they're running a lot of these justiciars. These are like battle nuns, effectively, the Sisters of Mercy.
Okay.
And a thing that's actually really rad about them is that they're all disease immune. So, if you are potentially going to end up in a big war with some necrophages at some point, the sisters make a good sort of spine for your army. Because the necrophage disease, the thing that they spread to everybody that they get near, is actually like, it's grim. It's bad news, for sure. Hi, Pink. How's it going? These are large armies in transport ships. Out of curiosity. Oh, right, we can't see their stats. We can just see the stats of the transport ships. Well, they're not very good, so at least their boats are whack. The temple is built. The laboratory is stocked with instruments of magnificent dread. Now my alchemists bring me designs for a place where dust magic can be properly studied, where pain can be quantified. Learning and suffering proceed apace at Verda's Temple, as screams of enlightenment and ecstasy echo from the buildings day and night. Dust is much more than we ever imagined. It is no simple spice or mineral that we once presumed. It teems and writhes, and endlessly transforms itself into million-hued aspects, almost as if it was alive. Sometimes it makes a man a savant of numbers. Sometimes it makes him able to scale a wall in 3 bounds. Sometimes it makes his heart hammer so hard it erupts from his chest in a crimson fire. I am certain that long ago our forgotten ancestors mastered this dust and enslaved it to do their building in miraculous ways. We are far from that point, but our path is clear. We have climbed onto the foothills of knowledge and caught a glimpse of boundless lands beyond, but we must keep climbing until dust contains no more mysteries than does water. But to reach that place, we must know more of the magic of dust and how it has come to permeate Auriga. We must study the land itself, the anomalies that populate it like gifts from a mad but loving god. And there is something else. One of my inquisitors, Reza, has made it her personal mission to fully understand the circumstances of my brother's death. Painstaking work into Verda's expeditions and known whereabouts over the seasons preceding his death have indicated that he had established his own private sanctuary. But I move with too much haste. Planning, like pain, must be done with patience and precision. I will let Reza carry on her investigations. Once we have learned more of the greater answers, we can more easily concentrate on these smaller ones. So how did our brother stumble upon capabilities that were mastered by the ancients long before? It is time to learn more of Auriga's ancient dust-riddled places and ready our people for further investigations. So we must exploit 6 anomalies within our empire. We're good. We have done this. We're going to receive the cold engineering technology that unlocks special winter versions of the pillars. This is a thing where I think if we hit end turn, we'll just get it, but we're not going to do that again. We'll let that be the thing that starts the next episode.
Okay.
But Amabel, I wanted to ask you about the universe of the Endless here.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take? Like, have I ever told you what dust is?
You have not told me what dust is. You gave me quite a lovely info dump, like on our second or third date.
Yeah.
About the endless. No, not endless. What is it? You told me about endless legend, but you also told me about one where they were stuck in a ship. Or something.
Dungeon of the Endless.
Dungeon of the Endless. But I don't remember the dust part. I remember us talking about the kind of science fiction trope of like a progenitor alien race and how we both kind of are not big fans of that. But you said that like it didn't bug you as much here for reasons, and I don't.
Yeah, I think some of the story elements make it more sensible here than it is in some other settings.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So like, what do you think then of like where we're at with this story here? Like all of the stuff in this game that seems to be magic, all of the things like these pillars that distribute resources and the enhanced capabilities of the heroes, the fact that we have all these people running around who are like superhuman. It's all the dust. It's all to do with the dust. People who have learned how to do things with the dust that is plentiful and valued enough that everyone uses it essentially as money.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just expend it to do things like miraculously complete a building instantly or...
Yeah. I mean, I think the degree to which it's not explained exactly is what makes it compelling. I'd like to find out more about it, but at the same time, I like that it's something that's kind of somewhat unknowable.
Okay. Well, then I'll hold off on going deeper into the precise nature of it for the moment.
Okay.
Suffice it to say that it is also a resource in endless space. It is not a thing that is specific to Auriga. I think that like the story of what Auriga is and how this place happened to be like this is really interesting. And one of the things I like most about Endless Legend is that there isn't a place where like that story is told super explicitly. You have to kind of piece things together from like bits of this quest and bits of that quest. And I think it's a really rad way to deliver this backstory that isn't really relevant to any particular game of Endless Legend, right? Like, it's not the story of the thing that's going on. It's just the story of the place where the thing is going on and kind of the reason why the thing is going on. Anyway, there'll be time for story concerns. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, sadly, it is turn 91 and we have just entered stage 5 of our faction quest. We are going to be doing our absolute damnedest to blitz through this as quickly as possible. So come back next time to see if we can do it quickly enough. And we'll see you then.